friendship that'll never ever end.
Run!
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie Yo 401. Day in that neighborhood. My brothers and sisters. Once again, my friends, it is the weekend. So y'all know who we about to go back to. AJ from the Y Files. The Y-File Saturday, y'all. And real quick about the Y-File, man, real quick. Because some of y'all have commented, you know what I'm saying, on our videos. Y'all left comments asking, will I react to Project Looking Glass from the Y-Files? And unfortunately, y'all, long story short, story long, I already reacted to it. That was the freaking video that I had reacted to, and my audio had started effing up. So after I react to it, record it, you know what I'm saying, and get ready to edit it, you know what I'm saying, that's when I was hearing all this staticky noise, staticky. So we missed out on watching that one together, man, but no worries, my brothers and sisters, because we got plenty more to go in the future. But the title of this one is Baltic Sea Anomaly, Atlantis and Underwater Alien Bases, Mysteries of the Ocean, Part 1. I'm just gonna say this right here, y'all. I don't know what it is. It could be a city like Atlantis, you know what I'm saying, down there in the ocean. It could be freaking aliens down there in the ocean, or it could be the Loch Ness Monster and all her friends. Like, all I'm saying is, man, there is some shit down there in the ocean that us humans do not know about. Or if we do know about it, it's just a very small few. I don't know, man. AJ probably finna get into all that right now. But like I said, man, it could be the aliens. It could be just these unknown creatures, sea creatures that we never discovered before. Or it could be cities or civilizations. That's the better word. But something down there in that goddamn ocean, y'all. I'm pretty much like 99.9999999% convinced that it is, man. And I'm already getting hyped, my brothers and sisters. It's the Wi-Fi Saturday, man. We just finna go on and get into it. But before we get into it, y'all know what y'all got to do. Get whatever you may need. Get what you need, please, because we back to AJ from the Y-Files. Y'all got what y'all need? Y'all ready to go? Then let's fucking go.
This episode of the Y-Files is brought to you by Aura. Like the Hubble before it, the James Webb Telescope has given us images of deep space that challenge our view of the universe and our place in it. Every day we discover new galaxies, stars, and planets. Some of these discoveries can even exceed our own imaginations. But we spend so much time exploring the heavens that it's easy to forget about the mysteries right here at home. 70% of the Earth's surface is water. Arthur C. Clarke famously said, "How inappropriate to call this planet Earth when it clearly is ocean." As of 2023, less than 25% of the seafloor has been mapped. Less than 10% of the ocean has been explored. In that tiny amount of exploration, we found things that defy logic and challenge history. Sunken cities, ancient monuments, and objects that look like they're from another world. The more we explore, the more we learn we know nothing about what lies beneath the waves. More people have walked on the moon than have been to the deepest parts of the ocean. So with all due respect to space, the real final frontier is the sea.
Get whatever you may need. And here come AJ with his commercial, but man, goddamn, y'all, my mind already blown. Did this dude really just say that we ain't discovered or explored no more than like 10% of the whole freaking ocean? That is a mind-blowing stat, man. I knew that we ain't discovered. If I would have had to make a guess, I would say we at this point probably had discovered or explored. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I keep saying discovered. But I would have thought that we explored at least 40%. But not even 10 freaking percent. That's mind-blowing, man. And another thing that'll always be mind-blowing and just make me feel like there is something down in the ocean is the fact that the ocean covers 70% of the fucking earth. Come on, man. There's something down there, y'all. I know it and y'all know it too. But let's get to it, man. And shout out to Hecklefish. We back, baby. We back on the Saturday with the Y-Files. And fuck with the Aura/Y-Files if you want to too, man. Let's take it back right here and let's go.
In June 2011, divers Peter Lindbergh and Dennis Orsberg were treasure hunting in the Gulf of Bothnia in the Baltic Sea. Peter had made a name for himself a few years earlier when he discovered a merchant ship that was sunk by German U-boats in World War I. The wreck was loaded with hundreds of bottles of rare cognac and brandy. The bottles were sold at auction for $20,000 each in today's money. That was enough of a nest egg for Peter to launch Ocean X, a deep-sea exploration company, professional treasure hunters. Peter and Dennis knew the ocean floor beneath the busy shipping lanes of the Baltic were loaded with prizes. To this day, 2 or 3 dozen ships go missing every year. Many of those disappear in the Baltic. They were on a routine survey mission when their sonar got a hit. Everyone on the ship gathered around the machine to see what they discovered. The sonar slowly started to paint a picture. They couldn't tell what it was. A merchant ship? A submarine? Was it anything of value? When the image finally finished processing, it revealed a circular object that didn't look natural. It looked man-made. Well, maybe not man-made. It looked like a UFO.
Oh, it looks like the aluminum falcon.
Millennium Falcon.
What'd I say?
It was 200 feet wide and was lying at the end of a channel. Whatever this object was, it looked like it had hit the water and slid hundreds of feet across the sea floor. The object appeared to have a hull with chambers and sections with straight lines and right angles. Peter and Dennis gave the crew orders. Don't say anything about the object until they figure out what it is.
Snitches get stitches.
Well, they were just trying to protect the site. They didn't want...
Snitches get stitches.
Fine.
Rules of the street, rules of the sea.
Anyway, they studied the image for weeks and were stumped. Finally, they decided to go public. The image went viral and landed in every newspaper and every broadcast in the world.
Buckle up, Star Wars nerds. You're gonna like this one.
What can only be described as the wreckage of a crashed spaceship. 仍然冇辦法確定呢一個物體係啲乜嘢。
The genie was out of the bottle. There was no going back.
They came across
I don't know, y'all. Like, I don't know if I could say that particularly, like, just look like a spaceship. It do, though. It do for real if you really think about it. But I'm not 100% convinced on that. More than anything about that object, you ever just looked at something and it give you just a weird vibe, like a weird feeling? That's what looking at that damn ship or whatever it is, I get a weird feeling over me more than anything. I don't know. Maybe just me. Maybe I'm tripping. But let's go.
something unusual.
Now everyone on Earth knew something mysterious was happening at the bottom of the Baltic. The hope was all that media coverage would help finance a return expedition to the site. If they could get back there, they'd dive to the object. They'd map the entire area in 3D. So the team started pitching investors and sponsors. Sponsors wanted to know, is this an alien craft? We don't know. Is it a natural formation? We don't know. Maybe it's proof of the lost city of Atlantis. Well, it's not Atlantis.
No, why not?
Well, because in 1968, Atlantis was already found.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
In June 1938, Edgar Cayce lay back on his couch and closed his eyes. After a few minutes of deep breathing, he started mumbling, then forming full sentences. He was in a trance. Edgar Cayce was called the Sleeping Prophet because this was his process. He went into a deep state of relaxation like sleep and had visions of the past, present, and future. Cayce gave thousands of readings where he predicted future events, and many of these came true. He predicted the stock market crash of 1929. He predicted the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls. He saw the rise and fall of Adolf Hitler. He predicted laser technology before anyone knew what that was. During this particular reading in 1938, Cayce was interested in the ocean, specifically the lost city of Atlantis. Atlantis was made famous by Plato, who described the island nation in his works Timaeus and Critias. Plato described Atlantis as a powerful island nation with advanced technology. Then there was a cataclysm. Volcanoes, tsunamis, and a global flood destroyed Atlantis. It's been lying at the bottom of the ocean somewhere ever since. Officially, the story of Atlantis is considered an allegory, Plato's warning about the hubris of powerful nations. However, many people believe that Atlantis was a real place. Plato said he heard the story from his grandfather, who had heard it from the Athenian statesman Solon. Solon learned of Atlantis from an Egyptian priest who said Atlantis was destroyed 9,000 years before. That timeline lines up nicely with the global flood at the end of the Younger Dryas, about 13,000 years ago. During Edgar Cayce's psychic reading, he confirmed that Atlantis was a real place. He said it was a large island nation in the Bahamas. He predicted that evidence of Atlantis would be found there. Specifically, he said evidence of Atlantis would be found in the area of Bimini in the Bahamas in 1968. 30 years later, in 1968, divers were exploring the area of Bimini when they saw something on the ocean floor that stood out from the surrounding landscape. It was a series of monoliths, giant stone blocks arranged in a line. Each block was a rectangular piece of limestone about 13 feet long, 3 feet high, and 9 feet across, and each weighing several tons. The line of stones looked like a wall, or more like a road. Bimini Road extends for a half a mile. During the last ice age, the Earth's sea level was 300 feet lower. The islands of the Bahamas were one very large island, and Bimini Road would have run right through the middle of it. If you look at ancient maps like the Piri Reis map, you can see the Bahamas not depicted as a bunch of small islands. It's shown as a single large island. And running right through the middle, something that looks just like Bimini Road. Bimini Road has spawned all kinds of theories, especially since it's connected to an Edgar Cayce prediction that came true. Some say this was Atlantis, and Bimini Road is a remnant of the city's ancient harbor. This also shows that Atlanteans had advanced construction technology, just like Plato said. Other psychics say Bimini Road emits an unusual energy that produces visions and healing powers. I can't confirm that, but Edgar Cayce did. Ufologists think Bimini Road might have been a landing zone for spacecraft, or possibly a portal to a different dimension. This portal, they say, still opens and closes on a regular basis. In 1997, deep-sea engineer Joseph Mason was diving Bimini when he saw a large square door open on the side of a stone block. The door led to an underground passage, but his compass started failing and the corridor disappeared. There have been strange electromagnetic readings above Bimini, sometimes causing instruments to go crazy. Is this evidence of portals or maybe something else?
Hey, real quick, y'all. I never even really thought about stuff like this could be in the ocean. Freaking portals and gateways or entrances to alternate universes or different dimensions and stuff. And I'm not gonna rule it out. It is possible, man. I'm gonna stick on that now. AJ should have never said that. We only have discovered 10% of the fucking underwater in the ocean. So how could we say that none of this stuff is really possible? And as far as Atlantis go, man, the more I listen to AJ talk about Atlantis, because this is not the first time that he'll mention stuff about Atlantis in some of his previous videos, and not even just him, just hearing about Atlantis from just the little bit that I know, I'm starting to get more and more like believing that actually was a place at some point in time in human history, man. I don't know, man. It's just I want to clarify this real quick with y'all too. When I was talking about Atlantis earlier at the title of the video, I'm talking about, I believe that like it's really possibly like a civilization underwater that like they humanoids or something. You know what I'm saying? I can't really think of the perfect word, but like they are like a different type of humans that's able to, like the Little Mermaid, man. Long story short, story long, man. But not actually mermaids, even though mermaids could be real too. That could be real too. But I'm saying that it's some type of humans that I believe that's under the goddamn ocean that just breathe underwater, and they got cities, and maybe they got a whole state. You know what I'm saying? Got a state with different cities. Y'all get what I'm talking about. I'm gonna stop running my mouth now and let's get back to the video.
Remember, Bimini Road is in the Bermuda Triangle. In the 1970s, divers claimed to have seen more stones aligned into more roads, but those structures have since vanished. There's still no consensus about what Bimini Road is. If it's a natural formation, it's unlike anything ever discovered. But while skeptics and believers debated Bimini Road, the Ocean X team was out raising money, trying to finance another trip to the UFO, the Baltic Sea Anomaly. It took a year, but they raised the money. So now it's time we go back to the Baltic.
Yeah, let's go back to that, man. Let's go back to that, because I want to know what the fuck that is. Like I said, y'all, it just give me uneasy vibes just looking at it. It look weird. I guess it look weird because I can't make out what it is. I don't know.
It took a year of pitching investors and sponsors, but the Ocean X team finally had enough money for another expedition. Deep sea diving is expensive. At that time, it cost about 20,000 euros a day. They had 120,000 in total. That means they'd have less than a week to find the vessel. And they're already off to a rough start. A storm forced the ship to find shelter in the surrounding islands. Waiting out a storm is throwing money away. Money they can't afford to lose. The following morning, their luck turns, and they've got clear skies and gentle seas. They begin scanning the area, looking for the craft. But they have to be careful. They're running radio silent. Cell phones off, no connection to the outside world. The media frenzy created a lot of interest in the Baltic Sea Anomaly, but it was in international waters, which means anybody can take a shot at it. They had to be careful and avoid being tracked.
Snitches get
I got it.
stitches.
After ducking a Navy ship, they dropped the fish in the water. This is side-scanning sonar. It paints a two-dimensional image of the ocean floor. They also use a multi-beam echo sounder. This emits sound waves that create a three-dimensional image of the seabed. But then they hit another snag. They lost their sonar. Something was interfering with the equipment.
Yeah, UFO jamming their stuff.
That's a theory. They dropped an ROV in the water to try and track their gear. An ROV is a remotely operated underwater vehicle. Basically, it's a small submarine with a camera and a grabbing arm. Somehow, they find the sonar cable and they repair it. But this costs them a lot of time, and morale is low. 48 hours later, they find the object. It's 300 feet down. That's deep and dangerous. So the ROV goes first, and they get the first close-up images of the anomaly. They see straight edges and what looks like concrete. Sonar shows a perfectly round hole about 10 feet wide, and it's surrounded by a square frame. Nature doesn't produce perfect geometry like this. They're excited to get down there and see the object with their own eyes. But they're getting strange temperature readings. The water is about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, but the water right above the vessel is below freezing.
Well, how is that possible?
Well, they don't know. Then a fog rolls in. This makes deep diving very dangerous. They get the
I gotta just ask y'all, man. If y'all had the opportunity to actually go down there and dive, like it's cool to take pictures of it and look at it from a distance. You know what I'm saying? Send a robot down there, the ROV, to go check it out. But would you yourself get in that water and go see what the hell that is? Because I don't know, man. I would have to think twice about that shit. You know what I'm saying, man? I have to think about that one hard, man. Because I done seen too many movies where stuff like that be looking all still and then that bitch turn to the Transformers or something, man. I don't know about that one, y'all. Turn into some freaking aliens, some monsters. I don't know. Y'all know I be tripping, but seriously, man, I would think twice before I get in that water to go see that up close and personal.
The feeling that something wants to keep them away. Still, they decide to dive. After descending 300 feet down, they arrive at the object. It feels like concrete. They touch it and the material turns black. They want to get in a few more dives but are out of time and money. Diving 300 feet means you need to take about 90 minutes to return to the surface. You have to ascend slowly to give your body time to readjust to the pressure. Return to the surface too fast and you can rupture a lung or worse. They have to turn back. And they have another problem. Their 3D scan is incomplete and there's nothing they can do about it.
Oh no.
But they brought hammers and chisels on their dive. They managed to chip off pieces of the object. So they return to port and send the samples to a lab, hoping someone can tell them, what the hell is this thing?
What the hell is it?
When Christopher Columbus sailed across the Atlantic in search of a new route to India, he found something else. And it wasn't the New World. Well, he did find that, but he found something else first. Like every good captain, Columbus kept a journal of the entire voyage. His full journal is available and it's worth reading. But there's one specific entry that stands out.
1492, October 11th, 10 p.m. I and Pedro Gutierrez, while on the deck of the Santa Maria, observed a light glimmering at a great distance. It vanished and reappeared several times during the night, moving up and down in sudden and passing gleams. It was sighted for 4 hours.
Columbus saw a UFO?
He did. Well, technically, he saw a USO, unidentified submerged object. Columbus made his first landfall the next day, which means he had his UFO sighting while he was in the Bermuda Triangle. There have been sightings of underwater lights ever since.
Time out, man. Time out, my brothers and sisters. Why all us growing up, you know what I'm saying, in school have learned about Christopher Columbus? But why don't they teach us shit like this in school, man? Like, why didn't they tell this side of Christopher Columbus' story? You know what I'm saying, man? That is so crazy. I guess because that's that corrupt shit. The damn government don't want us to know about UFOs and that they exist and all that. That's why they ain't tell the freaking story. Duh, Stack. Duh. That's what it is, man. Because this is this part of his story I would have been the most interested in, even as a little 7, 8 year old. You know what I'm saying, man? Whatever, man. Let's go.
In 1644, the mayor of Boston saw 2 bright lights rise out of the water. In 1873, the Adelheid sailed over something in the South China Sea that lit up the ocean for over an hour. They said it looked like a Ferris wheel. In 1879, the HMS Vulture saw a large Ferris wheel spinning in the ocean. In 1880, commander of the SS Shah Jahan described a massive Ferris wheel under a calm sea near India's coast. Later that year, another ship with the British India Company saw the same object. They said it was 300 yards long. Those are just a few of the many reports of this object. There are reports of the same Ferris wheel type craft that span 200 years. Whatever objects are in our oceans, they've been here for a very, very long time. Since the early 1900s, professional sailors...
Yeah, you mean semen?
Yes.
Say it.
No. Since the early 1900s, professional sailors and Navy men have seen lights in the water, and in some cases, craft emerge from the ocean. AUTEC is the Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center. This is a highly secret Navy facility located within the Bermuda Triangle. It opened in 1967, and it's in a remote location in the Bahamas near very deep water. At AUTEC, the Navy tests all kinds of equipment, including advanced weapons. It's been called the Navy's Area 51. Former employees of AUTEC base have reported mile-wide craft silently emerging from the sea. They create no sound. They make no waves or splash when going in or out of the water.
31 knots, sustained wind, topside, gust of 40.
What was splash? Splash.
What the fuck?
Mark bearing and range.
The USOs are strange enough.
Bro, come on, man. Looking at that clip, it gotta be. That's why it's called a UFO. It's an unidentified. Well, that ain't flying. That's sinking in the water. But still, man, it's an unidentified object. Take the F out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what that was on that little clip, that little video on their radar. Ain't no human doing nothing like that. Nothing exists that we know doing that. Did you see how it just moved? Man, they out there, my brothers and sisters. They most definitely out there. No doubt about it.
Enough. But the fact that they don't disturb the water is mind-boggling. No scientist has come up with an explanation for this. One researcher said that there's a force field around the craft that's a vacuum, which is why there's no wind or water resistance.
In front of the machine, they open vacuum space. This is why they need this tunnel. This is why they are never wet.
Now, I don't think that works. A vacuum flying through the clouds or into water would still disrupt it. The only thing that makes sense to me, which makes no sense at all, is that UAPs are somehow interdimensional.
I don't know what that is. That is some weird
So they exist in our universe, but they can pass through solid objects as if their physical matter is out of phase with ours. But we do, allegedly, have recovered craft. These are objects we can touch. So maybe this phase shift only happens when the engines are running. Or maybe anti-gravity technology makes a craft impervious to air and water friction. I really don't know. But there are more and more videos out there of UFOs shooting into and out of the water without disturbing a drop. This is clearly an important piece of their technology.
If what we are witnessing is a true trans-medium vehicle, a vehicle that can penetrate that barrier between air and sea or air and space without destruction, then we're looking at a propulsion system that is so far advanced, it's beyond next generation technology. So we're probably looking at, and what it is theorized is we're looking at, is a gravitational propulsion system, a non-reactionary propulsion system.
And boy, that man just said everything I was sitting right here thinking about, y'all. That the reason that we can't understand how the fuck that shit actually happening without interfering with the water, the clouds, or you know what I'm saying, having any effect on them, but it's still just going through it like some sliced bread, or it's like even better than butter with a butter knife. Y'all know what the fuck I'm saying, man. The fact that it don't do that, we can't figure it out, it's because it's so far advanced. These aliens out here are so far more advanced than us, and we are like freaking ants to them. Seriously, that's the brain to them. Our brain is a fucking ant. Just like how we look at an ant, like the ant don't know shit for real, but to crawl and bite your ass if you own him, if he on you or whatever, bruh. That's how them aliens looking at us, y'all. We don't know shit. We don't know how to do shit. The way I'm gonna put it this way, and I'm gonna be through with it. We know about gravity. We know how gravity works. But it's aliens out there who know how to manipulate gravity. Think about that shit right there. And I ain't talking about in a little simulation of the flying in the spaceship simulation. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about some craziness like we see on movies. But let's go.
In the late 1980s, Gulf Breeze, Florida, not far from the secret Navy facility, made global headlines. Local resident Ed Walters photographed a glowing acorn-shaped craft hovering above his neighborhood. His images triggered a wave of UFO sightings in the area, with hundreds of witnesses reporting similar encounters. Skeptics accused Walters of hoaxing the photos via double exposure, but analysis showed no sign of manipulation, only an ominous, unidentified object. Walters' photos are still some of the most compelling I've ever seen.
This thing is real. It can't be no balloon. No balloon, man. No balloon. That was real. That's a real thing, dude. It was the real thing. Where the hell did it go? Gone, man. Gone.
The Earth is covered by so much water and so much of it is unexplored that it seems obvious that aliens or whoever is controlling these craft would use the ocean as a way to stay hidden. In fact, there's a researcher who says there's a whole network of tunnels running under the ocean floor. These tunnels connect to large alien bases, and the locations of those bases are not going to surprise you.
Wonder what he mean by that.
Cuban ufologist Maximilian de Lafayette is a leading proponent of the undersea alien tunnels theory. He gets his information from sources in the military and NASA. He claims there's a vast network of tunnels beneath the seabed. UAPs use these to move quickly from one part of the Earth to the other. Within this tunnel network are hubs which contain large bases, 12 bases to be exact, and they're all over the world. South America, Russia, Japan, and there are bases in places you'd expect. Like several in the Bermuda Triangle, there's a base in the Baltic Sea.
Near the aluminum falcon.
Yes, there. And there's a major base in Alaska.
Mount Hayes.
Yes, under Mount Hayes. Remember we covered Joseph McMoneagle in the episode about Project 8200? That was the secret CIA program that used psychic spies to remote view locations around the world. Joe and other psychics saw alien bases in Mount Hayes and other mountains. They also saw a lot of alien activity underwater. Joe specifically said that USOs were very busy around the US Navy's base in the Bahamas.
I've remote viewed for every major intelligence agency in America. I did see some USOs that were operating within the vicinity of Autech.
After researching this topic, it's obvious we need a full episode on alien underwater bases. So if you want to see that, let me know. There's so much more to cover. All right.
Yeah, we most definitely we need a whole episode on that. Because man, that's a theory that I never thought of until I watched this freaking video. That is plausible, y'all. I don't care, this stuff be plausible, man. I don't trust this goddamn world that we live in. It is very possible that there are underwater bases that are very small amount, and I'd rather use that word. I'd rather say very small amount than use the I word. They got a LL than some other couple of letters behind it. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather use that terminology, but I feel like something is most definitely going on that a lot of us out here, the majority of us out here, do not know about. Ain't no doubt about it.
Last thing on this. A few months ago on the After Files, I covered a fascinating 4chan post.
4chan.
I know, 4chan is 4chan. But this person, who claimed to be a former contractor for the Department of Defense, was very believable. He says there's a large alien base underwater in the Bermuda Triangle. The reason planes and boats disappear is because they get too close to the base. In fact, he says the Navy knows where this base is, and they specifically avoid it. The alien base can move. The Navy sees them move and they set up a new no-go zone. He said that one plane strayed too close and disintegrated into dust. But here are the bullet points. The US military believes the base has been there for a long time. At first they thought a few hundred years, but now they believe the base goes back to at least 4000 BC. It might even be older, though he says there's an internal debate on this.
So what the hell is it?
Well, the base is a huge construction facility used to develop and deploy UFOs. They're here for research and resources. The military...
I'm sorry, y'all. This theory, what's going on right now is blowing my mind, man. It's really blowing my mind because I'm just thinking like this shit could act... Hey, man, it's a possibility. I know I keep repeating myself with that, but everything the Y-Files AJ keeps saying, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see that actually being something that's really going on because that would explain so much. If aliens are using our planet to manufacture and make new UFOs and they sending it out to, I know what I'm saying, it's the most craziness ever, man, to some of y'all, but just follow me. If aliens was really under the water at these bases, especially at the Bermuda Triangle, where a lot of these planes and stuff have disappeared and can't nobody on Earth explain what the is going on, and that's because they close to the fucking alien base that's producing spaceships out here, that would explain to me why aliens ain't blew us up yet. You know what I'm saying? Because they using our planet they self to help do some shit out there in the universe. You know what I'm saying? Our planet is a resource to them. Y'all get what I'm saying, man? I know the Wi-Fi's have us talking crazy as hell and shit and thinking all type of craziness, but I just want y'all to follow me down that crazy road. That's all I want y'all to do, man. This is a great video from the Wi-Fi's, y'all, and we still got a little while to go. So let's go.
He believes the base is operated by some kind of AI, not necessarily a sentient being or group of beings. The aliens, or whoever's in charge of the base, they don't really care about humans. The only time they'll get involved is if we start messing around with nuclear weapons. And we've seen UFOs appear on film of nuclear tests in the past. There's even that story of something shutting down a US nuclear missile facility. Here's how the base works. It decides it wants to survey some area of the Earth. Then, using raw materials within the base, a craft is constructed specifically for that purpose. The craft is built around whatever equipment is needed. If the base is going on a survey mission, it creates the necessary scanning gear. That package is then wrapped in a vehicle. The vehicle is deployed from the ocean. It goes on its mission, it gathers data, then the craft returns to the base, and the whole thing is broken back down again into raw materials.
It's nice they recycle.
Well, it's their planet.
So no aliens? Just spaceships that don't go to space?
No, there are aliens.
Yes, fin bump.
No, thank you.
Come on, fin bump for aliens. There you go.
And the ships do go to space, but rarely. They're here for Earth and a little bit of the moon. Again, different episode. Anyway, this whistleblower claims that the aliens are the Greys, and they're not fully sentient. The government believes they're drones or possibly even clones. They're grown as needed for mission support, just like the UFOs are built to be mission specific. Now that I think of it, we could do a whole episode just on this post. YouTube won't let me link to 4chan.
Smart.
But let me know if you want to see a full episode on all the details. He has a lot more to say. He talks about the materials they use to build, the power sources, different technologies that we've reverse engineered, lots of stuff. A lot of what he says is corroborated by other whistleblowers like Bob Lazar and even David Grush. Now, it could all be a hoax, but hoax or not, it's a really fun read. And speaking of hoaxes, we have to finish our story about the Baltic Sea anomaly.
Oh no.
Yeah, man, because I'm still so wishy-washy on the Baltic Sea anomaly. Like, I'm still, like, trying to figure out what is going on with it. Like, what is that, like, truly, man? Now, they found they found it, and they got some samples of, the rocks, or they, beat a little piece off of it and taking it, and I hope that explains what the freak it is. But as far as this whole theory about the freaking aliens, y'all, I never had this theory a day in my life, and now I'm so glad. Because to me, and call me weird, but it's exciting to think of the thought that freaking aliens are in the damn ocean, and they got alien bases, and they using us, our planet, as resources, and they letting us humans do whatever the fuck we want to on the land. You know what I'm saying? They not even studying our ass. We are nothing to them. You know what I'm saying? They just allowing us to live our lives, but they really in control of this whole fucking planet, and they got a lot of way more advanced shit going on than our dumb asses could ever realize. To me, that is a great thought for some reason. It give me I don't know. Like I said, y'all, I'm weird, but y'all weird too, because y'all sitting right here watching my weird ass. Now let's keep being weird together.
Peter and Dennis from Ocean X brought up samples of the Baltic Sea anomaly and sent them to a lab. It was just rock, no metals detected at all, so that rules out an alien ship. The rock was found to be volcanic, which is strange. There isn't volcanic activity in the area. The theory then changed from UFO to underground structure, maybe a temple or a building. There are features on the anomaly that do look man-made or unnatural, but the closer you look, the more it looks like nothing more than a weird rock. Now, on the internet, there are lots of fun photos and images and even video of the Baltic Sea anomaly, but none of them are real. The only actual image is that first sonar image taken in 2011. Wow. Sonar expert Hanumat Singh weighed in and said that the image isn't great.
If you look carefully, you can see a reflection of the circular formation on the right side of the image. Since side-scan sonar is taken with two instruments that bounce acoustic waves in opposite directions from the boat, a feature on one side shouldn't affect the image on the other side.
He says the reflections are caused by electrical crosstalk. This means the sonar wasn't wired properly. Singh calls this strike one, and he has more to say.
The black horizontal lines going through the image show that sonar signals are dropping out. That is, the instruments aren't detecting them, further calling the measurements into question.
A clean, properly wired sonar wouldn't have those lines. We'd have a clean image. That's not the case with the Baltic Sea anomaly. Singh calls this strike two.
Finally, the edges of the image, just beyond the circular formation, are gray, meaning the sonar couldn't tell what was there. That shows the sonar isn't calibrated well enough to trust. That's strike three.
The OceanX team has been attacked and accused of hoaxing the whole thing. It was suspicious that when they went back the following year, they had equipment failure. Remember, they lost their sonar, and their 3D imaging was incomplete. Skeptics say this is too convenient, and people started calling it a scam. Now,
I mean, we got to look at it from this side too, y'all. You know, we always got to look at it from both sides. And yeah, all this shit could be fake as far as the Baltic Sea anomaly. But my main thing that really like kind of effed me up with this is the fact that all them other images are hoaxes. They fake. You know what I'm saying? Somebody faked them. It kind of like just kill it for me. I'm like, oh man, humans be... I hate when humans do disgusting stuff like that. It's only one real image of it that we ever seen. I thought all those other images help solidify, validate the existence of it. But now you got to throw that out, and it kind of just make me want to throw this whole theory, this whole thing out, man. But I love when the Y-Files, because he talk about both sides, and now we on the objective side now. And I like when he do this, because it kind of like help us come back to reality, so to speak. So let's try to come back to it.
Peter and Dennis spent a lot of time trying to raise money to go back, but they couldn't find the support. They blamed the media for this.
I agree. Blame the media.
You don't even know what the media did.
Oh, let me guess. They jumped to conclusions without checking the facts?
Okay, so you do know what the media did.
Not my first rodeo, Chief.
After it was discovered that there was no metal, the media went hard on the OceanX team. They called it a scam. Every time the team pitched investors, they were turned down. Nobody wanted to sponsor a potential hoax. Peter has distanced himself from the whole thing. He was tired of being called a con man. Now, in defense of the guys, they did go back to the site a few years ago with an ROV, and there's more footage of it. They claim they found possible writing or hieroglyphics on the side of one of the stones. And it could be, it's too hard to tell. As of 2020, experts believe the Baltic Sea anomaly is a piece of volcanic rock that was pushed in place by a glacier. That's why there's a channel behind it. Now, everyone admits it does look strange. It doesn't look natural. But until a serious, well-funded dive team goes down there and spends a lot of time studying it, we'll never know. Dennis posted on his YouTube page just a few weeks ago that he's had a rough year with this and other projects. He had a Russian shipwreck dive scheduled, but the war derailed his plans, and he still can't find financial support to go back to the Baltic Sea object. He thinks this is a shame and a waste, and I don't disagree. Unfortunately, investors want a return on their money. The Baltic Sea anomaly doesn't have a financial upside.
Yeah, unless it's one of the greatest discoveries in history.
Well, it may be a great discovery, but there's no profit in it, so there's no support. That's why nobody's gone back to the moon. No profit.
Nobody ever went to the moon.
Look, I don't want to get
Nobody ever went to the moon, and I'm not going to tell you again.
Promise?
Don't make me fin slap you.
As for Bimini Road, the mainstream view is it's a natural formation. It's just beach rock that happened to arrange itself in that way.
In a perfect line, half a mile long.
Oh, that's the mainstream view.
The mainstream is full of
Watch your mouth. But you're right. The mainstream is often wrong.
Hey, man, like, come on, though, seriously, man. Them damn rocks was in a perfect line, a mile long, and that's supposed to just be a coincidence. Some stuff out here, man, it's hard to just believe, man. Don't believe everything you read. Alizé and weed.
The Bimini Road looks man-made to me. Unfortunately, there's no way to date the rock, so we don't know how long it's been down there. Whether it's connected to Atlantis or not, nobody knows. There are no other objects or structures in the area, at least none confirmed. Now there is that sunken city off the coast of Cuba that could be thousands of years old. And if the sea level was 300 feet lower, that whole area could have held a huge civilization. But again, no solid evidence, only speculation.
I love speculation.
I know you do.
It's a living.
The last thing we covered are underwater bases and the USOs.
No, don't debunk those.
I can't.
Oh, thank goodness. We lose subscribers when you do that.
Now, we can and should be skeptical about posts on 4chan and Reddit. They make for good reading, but that's not evidence. But we have plenty of statements from witnesses who've seen objects going in and out of the water. And by now, we've all seen footage of UFOs flying over and into the ocean. Now, there isn't a lot of physical evidence of actual underwater bases, but just a few months ago, an interesting image hit the news. It's an underwater scan near Catalina Island off the coast of California. Tim Gallaudet, a former admiral who is one of the Navy's top oceanography experts, says this scan is worth investigating. Now, this is an admiral, not just a sailor.
Seaman.
Stop it. The admiral saw the image and says there's no natural explanation for it, and it could be an entrance to an underwater or underground base.
I think it's about time that we do disclose that we are in contact with non-human intelligence. That's what needs to be put out there in the public.
Catalina has been a UFO hotspot for years. That's where the USS Nimitz was in 2004 when a pilot chased a UFO for miles. We've all seen this footage. The admiral says there's a lack of scientific curiosity from the military when it comes to UFOs. And he's right. Congress just passed a defense bill that includes language that gives the American people full transparency and access to the government's information on UFOs. Now, you already knew this. The news called it the UAP Disclosure Bill. But did you know that the Pentagon stripped all the language regarding disclosure from the bill? Now, as always, they can remove anything regarding UFOs if the information is considered a matter of national security.
So, that could be anything.
Anything. The Department of Defense can hide, cover up, redact, classify, or even destroy any evidence of UFOs they want, anytime they want.
No!
And they doing it too. They are freaking doing it. Best believe they are.
Yep. Tim Burchett, a Republican congressman from Tennessee, wrote the disclosure amendment. He said, and I quote, "We got ripped off. We got completely hosed. They stripped out every part." Burchett's a Republican, so it was Democrats that hosed us, right? Nope, it was Republicans. Oh, so Republicans are the problem, right? Nope, our Democrat Senate and Democrat President signed it.
Uniparty.
Uniparty. People ask me all the time about disclosure. Are we close? Are they finally going to tell us? And they hate it when I tell them, no, they're not. Congressman Burchett and Admiral Gallaudet are right. The Pentagon, the military intelligence complex, the shadow government, whatever you want to call it, they're not curious about UFOs. They're not curious about what they are. They're not curious about why they're here. They're not curious at all. I think the reason for this lack of curiosity is clear. Why be curious about something you already know?
Exactly, man. Boy, AJ just summed it up perfectly. Perfectly.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. My name is...
He just summed it up perfectly, my brothers and sisters. They already know what the fuck going on. That's why when the little stuff that we do see leak out, they don't go deeper into it with investigations and really trying to figure out what the hell this shit is, because they already know what the fuck it is. They more disappointed or mad or whatever that we finding out about this stuff. For real, the government don't want us to know nothing about this crazy ass UFO shit, my brothers and sisters. Long story short, short story long, man. This was a great one from AJ, man. And like I said at the beginning of the video, y'all, I don't give a damn if it's aliens, Atlantis, and when I say Atlantis, I'm talking about like a real living and breathing underwater civilization right now. That's what I'm talking about when I say that. Or the alien basis theory, man, that I never even thought about something like that. That just gave me a whole different perspective on aliens in general, because it would explain to me why aliens ain't just blew us up yet. You know what I'm saying? They so much more advanced than us till they could have just destroyed the shit out of us. But they may be using us, our planet. You know what I'm saying? And we just an afterthought to them. Oh, let them humans live. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let them live. They're not even worth our attention like that. You never freaking know, y'all. It's so many theories you can come up with stuff like this, man. And I love it. I love the different theories that we can come up with, man. And nobody can definitively say, no, you wrong or you right with your theory, because none of us at the end of the day freaking know. We just brothers and sisters living on this earth and just enjoying this thing that we all call life. But I digress. Hope y'all enjoyed y'allself, man. Please come on back tomorrow, because we're going to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ballin'. Please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and do all that. And I'm going to leave you with this. Love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.